Good morning. A little bit of rain on the windshield. Looks like it's raining this morning. So I follow a YouTube channel called Games Night. It does a lot of tabletop wargaming of different sorts, and they posted a video today. It was like a Jurassic Park tabletop game. Or I guess they posted it yesterday. And so it just got me thinking about how I kind of want to create some more videos, and one of the videos I do want to make is a I do want to do a kind of like tabletop miniatures, because like I'm trying to make a video about painting one of my minis, and then I want to do a video showing off all my painted ones, but the main video I've been wanting to do is actually having a game and figuring out how to do some kind of video around it. But I don't know how best to do that. Because like I've seen a couple different ways of doing it. There's like the battle reports where you just kind of essentially show still images and draw arrows on the screen, and I don't think I know enough about video editing to really do that good. So I think it would probably be better if I did the style where I like video the whole thing and kind of narrate it as it happens. One thing that Games Night does that I like is they have a dice cam. So they take a video of the dice. But I only have one video camera, so that probably wouldn't work. But, I mean, I can just kind of I don't know, because I have a tripod that can detach the camera pretty quickly, so I can leave it up, kind of taking a video of the whole table, and then move it as needed, but it seems kind of difficult to do. And then also I don't have much lighting. Like I have the lights in the room, but that's not really enough for a camera, so I do have some other lights I can set up to kind of light up things, but they're in use in other rooms, so I need to kind of get those and pull them out. Yeah, so I think I might do something like that. I don't know, because there's a lot of like fun ways to play, but you really need more people than just yourself. So I don't know, I might have to just wait until I have a little more experience with it. But I need to just get some games in, really. I still just struggle with getting with the social aspect of tabletop wargaming. You know, like finding a group and getting together. It's just kind of, that's the hard part really of all of this, because I have a lot of ideas and, you know, I enjoy actually doing the games, but having to reach out to people and coordinate something I just don't have the social skills. But, you know, I think it'd be good. And I just, like, you know, I still feel a little weird about the whole making YouTube videos thing, even though it is normalized more now. It still just kind of feels a little awkward saying, hey, I'm making a YouTube video, you want to do this? Because I've thought about, you know, I was talking the past 2 podcasts about my ideas for the Star Wars role-playing game, and I kind of want to stream, maybe not stream that, but record that, because I feel like that'd be really fun, but I don't have the equipment really for it, because you need like multiple microphones and stuff like that, which I guess I could kind of put together if I really wanted to do it, but I don't know, it just feels like something I'm not ready for, and then I'd have to also get more people involved and say, if we do make money on this, I'll split it with you. It just makes it all a lot harder. But I think I need to just steel myself and do something. I probably won't end up recording most of it, but maybe I'll start getting some more games in of Legion, and then kind of bring some more people on board to see if they'd be okay with doing some kind of a recorded game. And, you know, I should probably start telling people I know about this podcast, because I haven't told anybody other than my wife still. I know they'd all support me, and people would like it. Well, at least I hope my family would like it a little bit. I know it's not great quality, but I think that's just the thing, is I'm having a hard time with the social aspects of it. Anyway, so I did realize this morning that last night my wife and I had a date night, which is nice. Like, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, but I completely forgot to upload a podcast. So the recording from yesterday is still just sitting on my phone. And then we're going out of town today as soon as I get off of work, and we're gonna be out of town for the next 2 days. So I don't know if these are gonna get uploaded before Sunday night. I was thinking about bringing my laptop with me anyway. So I might bring my laptop, and then I was planning on bringing it anyway, so maybe when I am not going to use it, I can just set it to render. The problem is the rendering takes like twice as long as the podcast is, and that's just very basic 720p rendering, which I did one as 1080p on accident, so in HD, although I mean these days that's really just standard. But I did one at that quality, and it kind of looked about the same, and it took maybe 10 minutes longer, so not really much more time to render, but it took like twice as long to upload to YouTube, or it took like 3 or 4 times as long to upload to YouTube, which it usually only takes like 10 minutes, so that's not bad. What I really need to do is I need to get a good computer, because I want to build my own computer. I was talking, my little sister and her husband came up to watch our daughter last night so we could have a date night, and after we got back, I was talking to my brother-in-law about video games and stuff, and he was talking about how he built his gaming computer, and I have been thinking I'd like to build my own for years now. It's kind of expensive, so I want to keep an eye out and just watch for when parts go on sale. I need to start doing that now. That way I can plan it out and then get all the pieces I need, and just kind of keep an eye out, maybe get some of them cheap on sale or on eBay or something like that. But anyway, I am at work now, so later. And we're back. So, thinking about, building a computer. I have the technical know-how mostly, but I definitely need to look up some things about it. But I'm mainly kind of wanting to have a computer I can just like plug and play most games on. I don't care much about like high-end graphics, but I do have a few different there's a lot of people driving right down the middle of the road and parking on every which side of it. That's convenient. Anyway, what was I saying? So I don't have like super high-end graphical games, and I don't care if I can get like ray tracing and 4K graphics. All I need is 1080p for any game that I have, which I don't even have like super high-end games, just like I have some games that are kind of not poorly compiled graphics, but just like pretty much they use models that are not quite correct in scale with the game. So even though So, like, one of my games, Battletech, it's kind of a weird situation where it's not super high quality graphics, but the models for the mechs are essentially made so that they will be they'll be HD quality no matter what angle you view them from, and at even if you're up super close viewing them in the menus. And so and you can even give them paint jobs. So it kind of creates this issue though where most of the time you're going to be super zoomed out, but they're still trying to render the super high quality model, even though it only takes up maybe 100 or so pixels on the screen, at most 100 pixels, and it's still trying to render in that model as if it were taking up a larger portion of the screen. And so that kind of creates some issues with the graphics on my current laptop, because my laptop can handle it just fine when it's either just viewing one model or if it's viewing the Battlefield or whatever, but the problem is it's trying to render the super high definition details at the ground level while you're viewing 200 times that amount of detail. And so it just overwhelms it, kind of. And that's what I really need to address, is something that can handle all that at once. Because, I'm not doing anything super high quality. I'm not recording or taking 4K video. I'm just doing it more simple, but I want to be able to have that rendered a little easier. And then I also want to start doing videos, and so I want to be able to render a 1080p video in real time. That way I can edit a video without it being super stuttery and taking 5 seconds to get through 1 second of video. Because that's what my current setup is, because I'm on a laptop that was never meant for video rendering and never meant for graphical quality. But I like the CPU core I have, because it's a really good, it's a pretty good speed. I don't remember exactly. I think it's 2.8 maybe gigahertz. I don't remember exactly, but I know it's a 32 core chip, because it's a server chip that's meant to be running servers, and so it can't do super duper complex things for a single run, but it can run a lot of things at once. So it's good for that, but I want something that's more meant for gaming or video creation. But I don't want to spend a lot on the parts though, so we'll see. I want to have a pretty good amount of stuff though, but I think the CPU doesn't matter too terribly much. I'll probably go with a i7 or Ryzen 7, not sure which, but something more along those lines, but then beef up the RAM to 32 maybe. 32 gigs of RAM. and then have the GPU be a little beefier, but not too much. Oh, but I need to kind of like look up some more stuff to make sure I know what's compatible and what I can get easier. And then storage, I don't really need that much storage, I feel like. But I was thinking maybe I'll get a HDD for some like smaller or some more like long-term storage, because I want to put a couple of hard drives in it. I want it to have SSD for all my games and stuff that I'm like actively working on, but then an HDD for more long-term storage. That way I can get that one a little cheaper and don't have to worry so much about the price on it. And can just kind of throw some stuff on there. And I'm thinking of just getting some external drives for my actual like long-term storage, getting something that is supposed to last a while, and then just store all my old videos and stuff on there. That way I can free up a little more space on the computer. But I don't know, because I like having multiple games downloaded so I can just kind of play whatever I want whenever I want. But at the same time, I have no problem just having like 3 or 4 downloaded, and then if I do want to play a game I don't play very often, just downloading it when I want to play it, because I have real good internet and it's pretty fast. So as long as I'm plugged in to the Ethernet, I can download most games in a matter of minutes. And I'm not an impatient person when it comes to stuff like that, so I can just kind of let it download, do that on its own time. That's all for this segment. Maybe I'll remember what I was talking about later. And you're back. No, talking about prices of like computers and all. I actually have a PlayStation 5. That's the main thing I play games on, and I got it because it was cheaper than getting a PC that could play those games. But it's kind of one of those weird things where, you know, if you can make, because all a console is a PC built for gaming and nothing else, with a minimal OS that just deals with gaming. Like, if you just build a computer streamlined as much as possible for gaming, that's what a PlayStation is. But it's like, why can't they just do that? Why can't you just build your own PC like that? Why does it get so much more expensive when you want to do it as more of a generalist PC? Like the graphics processing and all, I think it just is because it uses kind of slightly different systems when you're on a normal PC operating system. It just uses the components in a slightly different way that makes it not as efficient. Oh boy. There is a piece of the cylinder of a wind turbine crossing the road right now, and that is kind of blocking traffic. Luckily I got around, but that's always kind of cool to see. Wonder where the blades are. I'm used to seeing that around here on the highways more. I don't usually see them in town, but I'm at a highway intersection, so. Oh. Oh, sorry for the pause, but I feel like I need to sneeze. Hopefully that goes away. But anyway, yeah, I've seen that a bit more than most people, I guess, because I guess a lot of people in like bigger cities especially just don't really see that kind of heavy equipment traffic. But you know, those wind turbines, those blades are like one of the longest things you'll ever see on the road. I don't know how the cylinder compares. That looked about the same length. I think it might have, I don't know, that cylinder was I think it might have been a little longer actually, but yeah, you don't realize those wind turbines, just how big they are from far away, because like they look pretty big, you know, off in the distance, but then even when you're up close to them, you kind of don't really realize it. You just see them towering above you. But when you are driving next to one on the highway, you realize that you could fit, I could drive through the middle of it like it's a tunnel. And I'm in a F-150. I ain't in a tiny truck. And I could still easily drive through the middle of one of those wind turbines without scraping the sides at all. They are huge, and the blades on them are just as wide. But, yeah, I always kind of wonder, because, you know, I've seen a lot of people like online say they were like a surprisingly old age, like in their teenage years, by the time they learned that like beef was cow and where like all their food came from. But growing up in a smaller town, I guess I just understood that a little better. And like I never was like, oh wow, this comes from a farm. Oh wow, you have to kill an animal to get meat. I just understood that always. And so I never got grossed out by hot dogs. I knew a lot of people in college who apparently didn't know that hot dogs were just like blended up parts of the animal from all over until like college. And I just didn't even realize that, because like I knew that sausage and especially hot dogs was made from every single part of the animal that they had, plus a little bit of extra animal if a rat got in the mixer or something, which that doesn't happen anymore. I know. Like, it is very rare to have any rat in your burger. But it is still possible, and there is still a small percentage of non-beef animal in there. But, like, whether it's a hamburger or a hot dog, just like ground meat in general is just all the different parts of the animal ground up together. But I've always really liked that because it means you don't have to eat a pig, like whatever, like you don't have to get the texture and visual and individual taste of a cow's anus to eat the anus. Like, there's a little bit of that in your hot dogs. Sorry if you didn't want to know that, but there is. And it's a good thing to eat it because it's just as healthy as the rest of the cow. There's nothing wrong with eating it. It's just we don't like the visual and the texture of it. So you grind it up and mix it in with all the other meat so you can't tell what's what. And then that makes it edible. And so you waste less food. I think that's a good thing. Because, yeah, as long as everything's mixed together into a hot dog slurry and then squeezed out a tube at the factory, if I can't see or taste the difference, I don't care that it's in there. Like, I know there's a lot of dishes that, like, especially living in Texas, there's a lot of, like, traditional Mexican and Hispanic dishes that have different parts of the cow. Like, there's, I don't remember what the name is, but there's one, it's like beef cheek, and it's like the face of the cow. And that's a real popular one in some areas, because that meat is supposed to be really good. But most people are just too grossed out by looking at a cow's face to eat it. But I don't get like that. I know that animals die to make my food. And I don't particularly care. Because, like, if an animal's gonna die for my steak, it might as well have its head there. I mean, if you're okay eating like ribeye, but you're not okay looking at the head of the cow when you eat it, then you're not okay killing animals for your food, and you should kind of think about that. Like, go vegan if you want. I know that's a lot of more popular these days. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think that animals' lives are equivalent value to a human's. I think that, I mean, God gave us animals to eat, and while we don't have to eat them, and I definitely do not like, the suffering of animals, I'd prefer not to have any factory farms. Like, when we can, we try to buy, like, free range eggs and stuff like that. And I know there's a whole complicated mess of what it says on the box doesn't necessarily translate the way you think it does. Like, cage free does not mean that that the chickens are out in a pasture. Cage free means that they're in one giant building all together, which can be just as bad as individually caged sometimes. But we try and get, pasture raised, smaller, like, farm raised stuff, because it is better for the animals. But these days, when you slaughter a cow, like, I've heard people that get mad because they use an air gun to blow. This is not the only way they do it, I know, but one of the most popular ways is you use pressured air to shoot a steel rod into the cow's brain, and that kills it instantly with no pain. Like, I can't think of a more humane way of doing it than instantly with no pain. And one of the reasons they do it that way is to save as much of the meat as possible too. So it's not humanitarian, or it's not animal welfare reasons that they're doing it. It's to save some money on some extra cans of beef, but it is still the most humane way of killing them because they don't feel pain and they don't know what's happening. They just see a farmer with a little contraption in his hand, puts it up to the head, and boom. But yeah, I don't have a problem with seeing the face of my food because I know where it comes from, and I think it's perfectly fine that it comes from there. But I like different parts too. But I'd like to always eat all parts of the animal, but it is just kind of gross when you see some parts of the cow there. Like, they're not all gonna look appetizing, and if you cook them on their own, they're not gonna all smell great. So it's good to mix it into some sausage, and so you can eat it without being grossed out. Oh, somebody on a motorcycle decided to rev it right when I started recording again. But yeah, I do not remember what I was saying earlier, but I am on my way now. Oh, it's gonna be a busy couple hours. Well, I guess it's just gonna be a busy hour, because we're gonna try to leave. We're gonna try and eat supper and leave for the weekend, because it's a 2-hour drive to where we're going, and if we don't make it in time, it'll get dark, and there's a lot of animals that like to get out around dark down where we're going. So we're gonna try and get off a little earlier, but we'll see. Oh, you know, I don't know about everybody else, but anytime we travel, I say we're going up or we're going down. Like, we're either going up into the mountains or we're going down to visit family, or we're going down, or I guess that's about it. Like, if we're going, because we live in the panhandle of Texas, so if we're going anywhere to the east or south, I say down. If we're going anywhere to the north or west, I tend to say up. I guess just north because it's up on a map, and west is mountains. The only places we really go. Let's see. I mean, we stop in Roswell, but when that happens, I mean, I usually say we headed up to the mountains and stopped in Roswell. We're trying to plan like a weekend trip up to the mountains with my wife's parents. We're trying to get them to go with us because my wife's mom has actually, so my mother-in-law has actually never been to a mountain. Like, she's traveled only within certain parts of Texas, and so she's seen like central Texas, South Texas, and the Texas coast, but she's never seen the mountains before. So I want to take her to them because I know that she'd really love to see the mountains. And New Mexico, those mountains aren't very big. They're kind of smaller mountains, I know, but they are true mountains, because she thought we were in the mountains when we went to Arkansas, and there's like some large hills, and it gets pretty kind of rocky at some points, so it doesn't look too far off of mountainous kind of terrain locally, but the elevation doesn't go up or down that much. It's just a couple hundred feet at most. But I want to show her the mountains, let her see some of that, and then I just know that they'd enjoy going to a place we know, Ruidoso. It's a popular vacation spot for people from our part of Texas, but it's nice, and we like to go there every now and then. We can't really afford taking a lot of trips up there, so we haven't had much chance to, but I'm thinking that if we can plan this one, we may be able to make it. But we'll have to see. But yeah, I think it's also just been a while since we got out and did something like that, because my parents took us to Disneyland last year, which is very fun, and it was great of them to do that, but it was busy, and it was a fun vacation, kind of, but I like going up and taking some time away from the busyness of a city for a while. I think I've been needing a bit of that, kind of getting out and away from the crowded city, and maybe go up into a cabin or go camping even. Just get out in nature a bit. I'd like to go on a hike or two, but my in-laws are getting a little older, so it's hard for them to go on any intense hikes, and then we have a 2-year-old, so that's not gonna work. She's not gonna want to just ride on my back, and that's what we'd have to do to go on a hike, really. But we'll figure it out. But yeah, it'd be nice to get away for a weekend like that, because I haven't done that in a while. I was kind of wanting to go on a bigger weekend, like make a couple extra stops, but my wife reminded me that I don't want to do too much driving with a little kid, and it'll be hard enough just kind of finding our way around and figuring out everything there. But that's something for further in the future. For now, we're just gonna take this weekend, go to a friend's wedding, and spend some time with the in-laws. I don't get people who dislike their in-laws. I love spending time with my in-laws. They're fun to be around, and their house is in a really nice place where we can just kind of sit back and relax, and it's nice. But I really don't understand why so many people have problems with their in-laws. Just, it's more family, and I love all of my family, both sides, and I think it's real nice to just get to spend some time with them and enjoy a nice weekend. But there's a lot of things that seem that people consider to be normal that I don't think should be, and like not getting along with your in-laws is one of them. Like, I get that they're not gonna be perfect all the time, but really, if you just talk to people, you can work through most issues. Like, people tend to hold grudges, I've noticed, and just really not let them go. And that hurts a lot of things, and hurts a lot of relationships when you just don't let things be in the past once they've gone. When you just dwell on past wrongs for ever and ever. Because you just gotta let go and let things move on. Especially because people don't stay the same over time, and people change. Sometimes that does mean you need to kind of drift away and not be around them as much if they aren't good people or do things that hurt you. You don't need to be around them, but that doesn't mean you need to hold it against them and be real angry at them every single time you see them. Just if somebody's bad for you, just drift away. But I don't know, I guess that's easier to say than do, especially when it's some pretty big things that have upset them and upset you. But I don't have as hard of a time with it. I like to think I can forgive people easily, but I guess I might have just not had to forgive anything too bad yet. But that's all the time I got for today. I don't know if I'll manage to get this posted this weekend, but maybe. So, we'll see. But, any way you put it, y'all have a good day.